Hello, everyone. This is John Jenkins again, and I wanted to bring a video about uh, the future of economics and what will be the next economic system in the 20th century. Well, starting in the 19th century, we had capitalism and socialism. And then the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991 in the 20th century. And uh, capitalism, it could be said that capitalism collapsed in 1999, right at the turn of the century. So the question is, what's going to be the next economic system that's going to take over the world? And um, the truth of the matter is that nobody knows. What will it be called, And, well, the first question, the obvious question is, why do we need a new economic system? Isn't capitalism the perfect system, or the system that we've always dreamed of? It can make a man with uh, a man with $80 billion, Bill Gates, um, admittedly, a lot of that 80 billion comes from inflation. You know, a dollar today is not worth as much as it was in uh, 1890. So if Bill Gates were living in an earlier era, he might have $10 billion. You know, after adjustment for inflation. So actually even less, because there would be no infrastructure to take advantage of his invention. Um, but the question is, why do we need to replace capitalism? Capitalism, it's lifted people out of poverty. It's produced the great vast wealth of the United States and of Western Europe. Why do we need to replace it? Well, there is a contradiction. There is a problem at the heart of every economic system. I, I'm sounding just like Jeremy Rifkin right now, but there's a problem at the heart of every economic system, and that problem is that the majority of people, uh, if given the option, the majority of people want to spend more money than they take in. So no matter how caring and no matter how advanced economic system is, feudalism, capitalism, socialism, mercantilism, um, even barbarism, the agrarianism. The problem is that most individuals at every income level want to spend more money than they take in. It's human nature. So, you know, In the United States, we have the credit card industry, the mortgage industry, and you know, to their credit, the banks are very uh, prejudiced in the way that they hand out credit. They only give you credit if you're guaranteed to pay it back. If they can look at you and guess that you either already have the money to pay them back or that you're guaranteed to have the opportunity to pay them back, then that's the only way that a bank will loan you money. But it still doesn't work because the people who are guaranteed to have the opportunity to pay them back do not pay them back. Uh, they just get another pay. They just get another credit card, and they pay off the first credit card with the second credit card. Um, and the cycle continues. So we're going to keep moving from economic system to economic system, but we will most likely never solve the ultimate problem with society and economies in general, which is that uh, most people wish to spend more than they take in. They, in the old, in the days of kings and queens, and things of that nature, people would spend more than they have by taking their soldiers and knights and spearmen and raiding the opposing village, stealing all their gold and killing all the owners. And that in that way uh, they could spend a lot more than they have without earning any of it. And in that same way, America today is a feudal system. Most countries in the world uh, do what we say because they know that we have, you know, uh, floating nuclear weapons on every major waterway in the world, and we can bomb them. That's essentially why countries do what we say. It's the threat of being killed, and the knowledge that we're the only country in the world that has ever actually used nuclear weapons on a large civilian population. Iran never did it. Even North Korea never did it. They're hesitant. You know, Iraq never did it. Afghanistan never did it. Even Germany never did it. Even though our scientists came from Germany. Many of our scientists came from Germany, who built the atomic bomb. So, but we were the only country in world history that ever demonstrated that we were willing to use an indiscriminate weapon such as a nuclear bomb on a large civilian population. And um, so, in that sense, America is not capitalism but feudalism. And the real reason I say that is because people always shout out about how much money the capitalist system creates, how much wealth it creates, But the fact is that America owes more money than it takes in a year. And I have to qualify that. America owes more money per year than it takes in per year, as in it builds up it builds up more debt. It runs up more debt on the credit card in 1 year than it makes in 1 year. So the question is, well, the question is the answer. The question is, how do we create a society in which people actually want to pay their debts? And the you know the only answer is that if we do not come up with a solution, then every economic system, no matter how many zeros it creates after the number, um, no matter how many figures it is, uh, will not produce anything of value. The real paradox here is that of human society as a whole. Ultimately, all of our inventions have amounted to a pile of garbage. With all of our inventions, all that we have done is create landfills, and dig out the contents of the earth and stack it on top. And uh, ultimately, it created because we owe just as much as because we owe about 5% more than we bring in, because we owe about 5% more per year than we bring in per year. Ultimately, that cancels out all of our advances. That cancels out all of our wealth creation. Basically, every invention that we have made is reduced to nothing or negative because uh, can't even, we are reduced to such poverty that we can't even uh, pay for a loaf of bread. I mean, with real money, man, not with monopoly money. I mean, we can't pay for a loaf of bread with real money that is not uh, uh, free of debt. And it would be nice if we could say that it was just a matter of figuring out were uh, which dollars were debt dollars and which dollars were non-debt dollars, as in uh, which dollars were redu- were which dollars were valueless because they were already spent, or yeah, which dollars were valueless because they were already spent or canceled out by the debt, and which dollars were free of debt, were not canceled out by a previous debt. It would be nice if we could say that, then we could just come up with a tracking system to see which dollars were valuable and which dollars had to be eliminated. But the fact is that we owe more per year than we take in per year. So uh, not only are all of our dollars not not only are all of our dollars worth nothing because we owe more than that, but as I said, we owe more than that. So not only is all of our money worthless, but we still owe more after that. So essentially, we have uh, if we if we if we gave up if we gave up if we gave up every dime of money we have right now to pay our debt, uh, we would still owe about $500 billion, and on top of that, we would owe about $60 billion because the previous years of deficits were never paid. We had a brief surplus in the Clinton era, but the previous deficits were never paid. So that is the paradox of the future, uh, and also the challenge of coming up with an economic system. We have to figure out how to change. I mean, it's the most impossible thing you can think of. We have to figure out how to change human nature, and yeah. So let me know what you think. What do you think the next economic system will be? What are the parameters that are necessary for the next economic system? Uh, and I know there are a lot of people who will claim that America has never defaulted on a debt. America America is servicing the debt every year and all sorts of stuff. Is it possible for a country that's rich to be poor? But other countries simply not calling in on debt because they're afraid of getting nuked is not the same as actually being in good standing with your creditors. And people will say, well, the debts of the country, you cannot look at, the debts of the country the same way you would look at the debts of a person. As in, a person is expected to pay all their debts, but a country should not be expected to pay all its debts. Well, the fact of the matter is that people want to get paid when they produce things. They don't want to work for free. Um, they want to be able to feed themselves and the people they care about. So, uh, and that'll never change. No matter what you can say. Oh, talk to my talk to my government. They'll give you an IOU. But no, that person wants to get paid for what they produce. So let me know what you think, and have a nice day. It's very nice out today. Uh, See you later. Bye.